We went to see The Hobbit today. Kind of slow, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of filler, it seemed like. A lot of deleted scenes.
Yeah, but
they
you
just left in.
You didn't see Lord of the Rings, though, did you?
I saw some of them. I think I saw all of them, at least parts of all of them. Pretty sure one was in the theater, too. Like the last one.
Yeah.
Return of the King.
But it started out really slow. I mean, they overdid it with the scene when all the hobbits came into the stupid house, one after the other. That took a half hour probably.
Yeah, and that was like mostly comedy. It was like it took you out of the movie almost, I guess.
Yeah, it did.
Like they're throwing the plates around. Spoiler alert: they threw plates. The plates were going everywhere, and they were all. It was like a Disney thing, or like Willy Wonka or something with the Oompa Loompas, you know. Just throwing all the plates, everybody was catching them and throwing to the next person like an assembly line. It was really weird. I don't know what that was about. It's like a cartoon at that point.
Well, what about when they started singing? They actually started singing this damn song.
It was during the plate thing, or no?
Yeah, at the end they started singing that stupid song. This is The Hobbit. They thought it was going to be a musical.
Humming. They were all humming and stuff. Like, I thought that was a good song.
Whatever.
Yeah, that was pretty emotional.
It was?
Yeah, it was like a serious song. They all got serious, and they're like, "We're gonna find the gold," and whatever. That's the song you mean, right?
So then what happened after that? And then...
the credits, I think, came up.
Oh, the credits didn't come up.
Already? No?
No.
Oh, that's right. There were 3 more hours after that.
Well, 2 hours and 45 minutes, but who's counting?
When you're sitting there watching it, you're counting. No. With that particular movie. No. It was a little boring at times, but overall, it was worth seeing, I think.
Well, Bilbo Baggins didn't want to go along with it at all. He wasn't an adventurous person, so Gandalf wanted him. For some reason, I never did find out. I don't know the reason why Gandalf wants him on this quest.
Yeah, like, what's so good about him? Like,
he's just a guy.
Yeah, and then he turns out to be all sweet and everything and heroic, but he had to bring it out of, I don't know.
But what was that's a big hole in the story. What was the plan with Bilbo Baggins that Gandalf needed him with his band of merry men, the other 12 nuts? Because they seemed perfectly capable with their stupid hair twisties in their hair. And
he was just intruding in the middle of all of it. And like they had their own thing. They could throw their plates around to each other, and they knew exactly what it was.
Yeah, they didn't need him.
And he just supplied the house for them to wreck.
That's all. He supplied the house for them to wreck. And then that one guy, we get it, he eats a lot. We get it. He eats a lot. They throw him a piece of food and the chair breaks.
They have these massive fat suits for these guys, and
yeah, they ate a lot of fatty foods back then. Wonder what they eat in the dwarf land.
Yeah, that's what we need.
A lot of bacon.
That's what we need, is to have a movie where you have guys just stuffing their face. Like, that's what we need in America. Just have, like, just that was out of control. That had big giant blocks of cheese, like a pile of 6 big cheese hunks, and they're just shoving them in their mouth.
It was ridiculous.
For like an hour. That was an hour of the movie, actually, I think. It's like biscuits and just on to the next thing, and they never stopped eating.
No, they
the
didn't.
whole time. But then they cleaned up nicely, throwing the plates around.
So anyway, Hobbit was a good movie. The last 45 minutes of it. So we had, what were the guys in the cave? All those guys in the multi-level wooden bridges, and what were they? You said they were goblins? I thought they were gorks or orcs.
I think goblins.
Or the orcs were the ones and the wolves, whatever they are.
Yeah, they all kind of look similar. But yeah, the ones in the cave seem to be goblins to me, because that his sword glows for trolls or orcs. Orcs, was it trolls and goblins or orcs and goblins? I know goblins was one of them.
For orcs and goblins, I think he said.
Yeah, not trolls.
Yeah. So let's back up. So Gandalf said, somebody want to know, are you the only wizard? And he said, no, there's 5 of us, 6 of us.
5.
And the one guy was the nature wizard. What was his name?
I can't even pronounce it.
Something stupid like that.
It started with an R-A.
Yeah, something stupid like that. And he I don't know.
His only power was to take care of animals. Like he had a little clubhouse, a tree house with. It was like a veterinarian office, and he brought all the animals in that were injured and like suck the bad energy out of him or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, but he was a little twisted because he had, he twisted like your twisted tea. He was twisted because he had these stupid birds under his hat, and the bird shit was all over the one side of his head. The birds going to the bathroom on his head. But
he just left it on his head. It's his hat. It's part of his hair now. It's just
like that.
That's.
He felt at one with nature.
There were you can tell there were no mirrors around him.
And the birds didn't smother under the hat. What's that about? But he had a very good ability. His claim to fame was, he was a professional rabbit sled driver. Yeah. He knew how to do rabbit sleds. This nut had a rabbit sled similar to a dog sled you would see on Iditarod, but they were rabbits, special rabbits, really fast rabbits, not even orcs could catch.
Now, they weren't like reindeer. They couldn't fly, but they were like the fastest kind of rabbits or something, because he was laughing when all the orcs have their little dogs that are these big, I don't know.
Dogs, wolves.
Yeah, like big monster wolves things.
Ugly looking wolves.
And supposedly these rabbits can outrun them, even though their legs are like, that it'd take like 10 of their legs for one of the wolves' legs. I guess they're called wargs. Wargs.
Is that what they were called?
Wargs.
I never.
Because the main orc, I don't know what his name was. The pale orc or whatever. The leader guy that was all scarred and stuff. He was pretty cool. The one with the arm cut off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he stuck that thing to his arm.
Yeah, he had some metal apparatus, like weapon, that he just jammed in his arm. And it's sticking out the back of his shoulder.
I guess it fused to his bone.
Spiky, and he never used it in the movie. It didn't matter. He could have just left nothing in his arm, and it wouldn't affect the plot line at all. It didn't. I guess it was cool looking. But.
Yeah, because he wouldn't. Why would you put that in your arm? Now he has to get wanded at the airport. You just can't go through a metal detector. That stupid thing in your arm. He could have avoided all those issues when he traveled. His
wargs can't fly, so he's gonna need a plane.
He won't need an airline. Yes.
Yeah.
It will need an airline.
They should show that part of the movie. I'm surprised they cut that out, the airline scene, like that everybody was talking about, where they have to wait in line and all that.
Think they cut it out?
Yeah,
it was in there. You think they cut it out?
They were saying
movie's too long. We need to keep the airline scene out of it.
They that's the thing they chose to keep out. I guess it would have took away from it. They just.
So then, nut with what was after the nut with the stupid rabbit thing? Oh yeah, they were cornered by these orcs. They came close by, and he said, "I'll what did he say? I'll get him out of the way. No, I'll divert the attention or something like that." And he's just doing nothing but in the background, driving back and forth in his sled. That's going ridiculously fast over these rocks, and he never falls. And so they never do get away. They're on foot. These guys are on these fast wolf-like things, like like giant cheetahs with big fangs, and these guys are walking.
Oh, and those rabbits can run really fast, but somehow he caught up to him when he was running on foot to get on the sled. He was able to with his little stumpy legs.
So and then he goes off. Then what is? I got a quiz for you, Sean. You probably get this right. What is Gandalf's favorite saying of the movie?
Saying?
Favorite thing he likes to say. He loves it. He said it at least 10 times in that movie.
Oh, you asshole.
No, not that. He said, run! He kept saying run. Get out of the way, run.
He knows when to run.
He said it in Lord of the Rings. All he ever said was run.
He knows when his powers cannot do anything. Because they're in cooldown or whatever, like World of Warcraft. He tells
him to run. So he tells them to run. They run. They end up in this crevice in the middle of this desert place, and they're safe now. And then the elves come and kill the orcs and chase them off. We're safe now.
Desert place. You're talking about the grassy area with the rocks around?
Yeah, that desert place. Yeah, all right. Like desert to me.
And then it's like they know where they're going all of a sudden when they're in that. It's like they were meant to go there. Like Gandalf had this whole plan, but somehow he didn't know where he was when he was in the cave. He was like, he looked like he was bewildered about the whole thing. And then there's this city, Rivendell.
Yeah.
Was at the end of the cave. It's this fantastical city.
Well, that was the elves city. The elves have
elves,
really nice.
yeah.
You know what? The elves have a lot of money, so they can build this really nice city.
And that's their entrance. They have to slide down that rock to get there.
They slide down a rock, and
I didn't think of that.
They love waterfalls too.
That's their grand entrance. They have this beautiful city and everything, and then they have to slide down this crude rock,
Yes,
and go in this cave.
That's what they like to do. They like to slide on rocks.
What was in that cave? I'm thinking of the troll cave. I guess one thing we should mention is that we didn't see the 3D version. We didn't see 48 FPS version. Whatever that's some new thing that's
good point, Sean.
Be doing.
Good point. You're a good podcaster to bring out those details for the listeners.
We saw the regular 2D at a very good theater, even though it was bought by Carmike Cinemas, which is a terrible company.
Hate that, don't you? I knew you hated that right away.
Right away. And they want you to buy more stuff. They're not happy with you buying a movie ticket. They're not. They want you to go out there. They said the movie is better with Coke and Pepsi. Coke and popcorn. You can't. They don't want you to be there without that.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous.
And it doesn't even sound good. They think it's appealing to people that you can tell I'm worked up about this.
Yeah, it didn't sound good.
Put yours in the middle.
The Carmike thing.
Like they're pouring the Pepsi, their Coke, and that's the sound. That's the great sound to show off their system. Like they're pouring Coke and popping popcorn. Like,
oh, what about this though? Yeah, it was
3D
stupid.
sound.
The sound effects, right?
Surround sound popcorn. Who gives a shit?
Not only that.
Is that all you can come up with?
Not only that, the large popcorn, which wasn't very large, and a large soda and a small soda was $17.50. And he tried to push that bucket on me, that plastic bucket. Get this, you could buy a plastic bucket for $18.50.
Yeah, now that they're going bigger with that, like people aren't fat enough. What?
$18.50, and now you can go ahead and refill that as much as you want next year, the whole year for $3.50.
Yeah, because
big deal.
When you bring like a massive bucket into the movie theater, like you got to refill that when you're done.
That's right.
You're gonna really need to. They're not gonna make a small one that you can refill for free.
No.
This is the one that's the cheapest. They make.
Gotta get the giant one.
With these,
I don't like Carmike either. I'm money grubbing.
The movie experience is just, man.
Yeah.
You can tell money is very heavily involved, and they're trying to.
We don't like Carmike, so we hate Carmike. Actually, I do.
If they could have a whole big magnetic field or something, and just make.
Like what?
Just put metal into your money, like your cash and stuff, and just have a magnet where they just suck all of it. They would do that. They would have a system where it just takes it out of your wallet. You don't even know it. So
after Rivendell, where'd they go after that? Oh, they snuck away. Oh yeah, Gandalf was talking to the princess, whatever her name is, and they're talking telepathically.
Yeah, that was weird too.
Only them two could do it. Nobody else.
And nobody's gonna know. Like, oh, what are you saying? They're all listening to each other. Like,
right. So he's a high elf too.
What are you guys doing?
The main guy was a high elf. Mr. Smith was a high elf. Mr. Smith, the Matrix, by the way.
The guy that played. Yeah.
Mr. Anderson.
He'll never live it down.
He'll never live it down. I will always see him. Say that again.
Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson. Exactly the way he sounded.
I wish I could remember anything from that movie.
I know. We have to watch it again.
Yeah, let's watch that and do.
We can watch it now.
That. We'll watch The Matrix and act like it's the first time we ever saw it.
We could watch The Matrix. That'd be awesome, actually.
Delete this part of the podcast where we're saying that we saw it ahead of time.
After that, then what happened? Oh no, yeah. So they're telepathically talking to each other, and then these guys sneak off, and she senses it. She senses it in Gandalf's brain. Did they leave?
Yeah, they left. And you knew they were leaving. And he just makes a face.
So now they're walking up what I think is almost like a sidewalk that goes around the mountain.
Yeah.
It just looks like a sidewalk all the way up. It spirals up real nice. And I guess they chipped it away with chisels, whatever they did that. But anyway, they get up to the ledge now. Oh, by the way, spoiler alert. They get to the ledge.
Yeah, now is the spoiler alert.
And this big giant rock, boulder, whatever it is, part of the mountain crashes above their heads, and then these shards of rocks and giant boulders, big as cars, are coming down past their heads. Nobody gets injured, not even a scratch.
Yeah, for one, there was a giant boulder that just came out of nowhere and hit the side of the mountain.
It was almost like it was a meteor, right?
It looked like metal or something. It's like this really black, like flaky type of rock, and it just explodes all over. And none of them have a scratch on them, of course, throughout the whole movie.
Of course they don't,
because because that guy that can only help animals, he can only fix up animals. He can't do humans. There's no human hospital people.
Right. There's no human hospital people. So anyway, describe what happens next. These mountains are
Hospital
these
wizards.
mountains start. They come out of this. These guys, they're giants that come out. They're actually part of the mountain.
Yeah, they're made of them. They are the mountain. They're just people. I guess it's just another race of. I don't know if it's magic. Who knows?
But they started fighting. 3 of them started fighting.
They're throwing rocks at each other like for no reason. Who knows what started that fight? They just have these 2 mountain people fighting, and then there's people trying to walk across the edge of their arms and whatever.
Yeah, and then they just stop fighting for nothing. One of them gets killed.
They're getting hit with rocks. Like, I guess they bleed dust or something. I don't know. Like, I don't know how they're alive to begin with. They didn't have any faces or anything. It was just like a jaggedy boulder for a head and arms, and they're just throwing other boulders at each other. Like they look like they're ripping their heads off and throwing them. Like big boulders like that.
They just stop. So then one of the best parts to me is, okay, these rock guys are fighting. The next thing you know, they're not fighting anymore. There's 3 of them. One of them gets killed. The other 2 just, we're done.
Yeah, they
see you
just
later.
stay completely
Have a nice
still
day.
then.
Yeah. Have a nice day. So they go inside this cavern thing where they're at now. Oh, it seems safe in here. Let's all go to sleep. So they go to sleep, and next thing you know, the floor opens up. It's a trap made by these morons who knows how they engineered this. They put hinges on the rocks, and the rocks opened up. The floor opened up. They all fell down this.
Yeah, when they were sleeping, did you say?
Yeah, 1,000 feet of jagged rocks and wood. I kept falling and falling and falling. Nobody gets hurt or even scratched.
Yeah, they're like tumbling down all these caverns. And
you know what happened? I think once it opens up,
and they land on each other with their swords. You know, they all have weapons and stuff.
They all have weapons, jagged weapons,
stabbing each other.
Swords that they have.
Nope.
Well, then so anyway, they get down there to finish this point. They get down. There's this giant guy with this giant chin. He almost looks like Jabba the Hutt with I don't know, some giant chin.
Except like he makes him look attractive. This guy that we're describing, the king, the goblin king, is like, he has this chin that's like 10 chins together. It's like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like a sack of jelly hanging down.
So we're making this review way longer than it has to be because the movie is 2 hours and 45 minutes.
We just want to ruin it for you so you don't go.
We're just ruining it because really there's really nothing to talk about except for 30 minutes of the movie. So we're going to keep big chunks of it. Not even going to talk about it. So screw it.
Wait until you can see it for free at somebody's house or, you know.
Anyway, they get down there. There's thousands of goblins all over this like cylinder cave, this deep dark cave.
Yeah, they come out of nowhere. Where are they? In their rooms or something?
Yeah,
what?
I was just going to say that.
They have this whole bridge system and stuff, and they never use it. They're like, fuck that place. We got these luxury suites and whatever.
No, but I didn't see any suites. All I saw was
right. They
like
just come out of nowhere.
There was no dwellings at all. They were just.
And they're like, oh, we hear sounds. Our trap went off. Check the mouse trap or whatever. Like.
So we're in the goblin area now. And the biggest stupid thing for me was, not only do they don't have places to live, they're just sitting on these catwalks, looking at these people they come crashing down now, and so they make the big escape. What happens? Oh, Gandalf comes. Gandalf shows up with his wand, and
just when they're about to cut the guy's head off or whatever. Like.
The guy's head off. He's big. He has this big energy. All of a sudden, he has all this power. He didn't have any power, but now he has this giant energy wave.
Gandalf, that is, yeah. He just comes blasting in from nowhere, and everything falls over. Everybody falls over, and then he's like, fight! Fight them.
Yeah, so they start fighting, and then he says, run again. Run.
Yeah, fight, but then run.
You got to fight now.
When you lose.
Too much, just run.
These bridges somehow hold up. Like, the ropes are probably really old, and everything. The bridges are just all rickety, and they're holding all this weight from all these goblins and everything.
And they hold up. They're all rickety bridges.
None of them break at all until
spoiler alert. By the way, spoiler alert again. So they almost get out, and the guy comes up.
Now we're talking about the movie.
All of a sudden, he has all kind of agile energy. This fat pig of This guy is so fat, and he's got this chin that weighs a ton. He comes popping out of the bridge from underneath there. I guess he busts through it, and with all this energy.
Now what are you gonna do?
You're gonna get rid of. You think they're gonna be that easy?
Yeah.
Now what are you gonna do? And he sliced him a couple of times with some sword. You don't see any incisions. He's, oh, that'll do it. So that's it. And he falls down dead.
He was fine with dying. He was comedic about it.
He was cool about it. Yeah. He
like,
was
you
done.
cut my belly. I didn't really feel it, but
Yeah.
I am dead.
Yeah. So he falls down, and now this triple level bridge starts. It breaks off on his side, and he falls, and it happens to break off on the other side. And now they're suspending this triple platform bridge, and now they're falling.
And the whole
Thousands
structure of the
of
bridge
feet.
is just holding up the whole time. It's fine.
All the way
Everything's
down.
fine.
It's knocking the sides of the gorge, whatever it
They
is,
could've
all the way
fell asleep on
down.
it, like,
And they get to the bomb, and it hits a couple rocks and slows itself down. It slows the descent down, almost like you're landing out of a parachute, and you're gonna nice, easy landing. Then they land real nice, and everybody survives. Again, not even a paper cut.
yeah.
Good thing they didn't have paper.
Not a splinter either.
Or
All
splinter.
The wood that they're sliding
It was
around on.
splintered wood. It was
No
special wood.
Rocks hitting them in the eyes. Not even anything in their eyes.
No.
or anything.
Again,
Nobody's
future
complaining.
technology.
Nobody's rubbing their eyes and be like, "Ow, my elbow." Nobody's
Nobody's doing that.
anything
Nobody's
like
limping. No sprained ankles.
Everybody's just like, "Okay, what's next?"
There's no
just keep going."
slings. Yeah. What's the next scene? We're done with this.
Did
We're
I get
safe.
stabbed? Yes, I did, but it's not
But
there.
you know
I
what?
didn't get wounded. Huh?
But you know what? Spoiler alert. They're not safe. Here comes the goof that died. Falls on top of him. He weighs like 10,000 tons. Falls on top of these guys. And you know what? Still no paper cuts, sprains, or broken bones. Nothing. These guys are all like superheroes. They're walking around in this bubble of protection somehow. I don't know what's going on. But they never get. But I know you World of Warcraft guys, and you wizard people, and you Tolkien freaks. Oh, that's the way it is. No, it's not the way it is. It's stupid. That's what it is. It's just stupid. They get out of that situation. They walk out. How do they do that? Oh, I know. We forgot about the big deal. And Sean has to talk about this too. Because Sean has part of this conversation. So now they meet Gollum.
That
Watch
was
it bag-
during
bag-
all this.
Yeah, during all this nonsense where they're trying to get paper cuts and can't get them. Big Bagbo Baggins, whatever his name is, Bilbo Baggins is down playing Riddle Me That Batman with none other than Gollum.
Baggins.
So yeah, so Gollum's down there with the ring. He loses the ring right away, beating up one of these goblins. He drops the ring. It's so important, it just falls out of his skivvies. He's nothing but a fucking G-string on, and it falls out.
This loincloth, like half of a loincloth or something.
And Bilbo Baggins
He doesn't even
picks
have
it
a
up.
pocket on it or anything. It's just
Yeah.
like in between his.
Well, luckily,
flesh.
Bilbo Baggins has a special ring pocket that all these little hobbits have. They're the special little, it's just a shallow pocket. You don't need a big, deep one because you're not going to be flying around into caves and flipping around in trees and shit like that. And it's not going to come out. So he probably has a zipper. We didn't see the zipper. Or again, my force field theory comes out.
But
So I'm
he
thinking.
takes this thing. He finally lives up to his name, the burglar. He's supposed to be the burglar.
Oh, that's right.
The whole time he signs his life away as the burglar
That's right. He's the burglar.
for the movie, and he doesn't do shit. That's the only thing he takes,
He's the burglar.
and that it just fell right into his lap, really, and he just picked it up, and even how he ended up wearing it at one point, and that was even an accident. He didn't put it on. He slipped and fell, and the damn ring goes up in the air, and then he's like, "Oh," and it goes on his middle finger, and then he's invisible.
He falls, but before he falls and does
Just in
that,
time.
they have this riddle contest.
Yeah.
Apparently, Gollum likes riddles, and Bill Baggins he rolls with it. Okay, we'll do a riddle contest. If I get the riddles right and I win, you show me the way out. If you win, you get to eat me. Whatever.
Yeah.
So he ends up winning because he's such a good riddler guy. But it was just it was like 3 riddles too long for that scene. So they're on their way out. And Bilbo Baggins trips or something, falls, something like that, and he rings, and he puts his little faggoty hand up, and the ring's twisted in the air, and it falls on his little faggoty finger, right on the finger,
Just in time. He's about to get caught, and he's looking. Gollum's looking for him.
Looking for him.
Precious.
He's going to get him. What's he saying?
I can't.
The talent's nervous. How can the talent
I
be
only
nervous?
had one twisted tea.
Go get the other twisted tea. I need to refill anyway.
No.
We'll take a break.
If you're still listening, you must be very curious.
Yes, very curious and very bored and no life.
And you really want to ruin that movie.
Yeah, I'll say. If you didn't see this movie, you should not be listening. And if you're still listening and you didn't see the movie, just don't even go see it. Or, just keep listening. We'll tell you the good parts in a second.
Yeah. But first we'll shit all over the bad parts, that's going to take a while.
No, we're done with the bad parts of things.
Really?
So now we get to this point now. They get out of there. They don't get crushed by the guy. Don't get paper cuts, blah, 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 blah. Gollum, he has the ring now, and the ring shows up now. Now finally the ring shows up. This part I really liked. He became invisible, which is the power of the ring. Gollum can't see him. Gollum doesn't know what to do. Gollum's saying stuff. I don't know what he's saying.
Which they still managed to...
Gollum's saying stuff, like weird shit. He's just saying...
Well, he wasn't saying anything at that point. He was just looking for him because he's invisible. You went too far ahead. But
he was saying... What were the riddles, though? He was saying the riddles. They were stupid riddles, too.
They just rhymed and stuff. I don't know. I don't even know what the riddles were.
One riddle was a crossword puzzle, or tic-tac-toe. Was the one riddle.
All I know is the answers. The answers to the riddle.
Yeah, wind.
The first answer is teeth. Like, it was just...
I didn't get that either. I didn't get any of the answers to the clues.
I didn't
get any.
I don't understand riddles or jokes or anything.
The riddles were stupid, and the riddle scene was way too long. And but Gollum looked cool. He looked really menacing.
And
the word.
I don't remember how he looked before, but he was 60 years younger this time, I guess.
He wasn't menacing though in Lord of the Rings. He was menacing here. He was dark looking.
He really went back and forth with the personalities. Like, he has this one mean personality.
Yeah.
And then the good one.
And precious.
That just wants
precious
to eat.
Us. Precious.
That's the only thing I can remember him saying is just the word precious, so I can't do any
All right, my co-host is getting fired because he can't do his impressions anymore.
I can only do Yoda. I probably can't even do that now. We should make the review for The Hobbit just as long as The Hobbit was.
Yeah, we should. We should record a 6 hours.
Where we're like for filling space too in the middle of it. Just like that seems appropriate.
Yeah, that's what The Hobbit was
just
like.
Going off track and doing stuff that doesn't matter, and then going back and talking about it.
Talking
about this source material.
That's a good way to describe to people how they should go watch The Hobbit.
Yeah,
pick some reading material with you. Watch 5 minutes and just start reading a book for 15 minutes and just put it down.
Because you can't if you can't fast forward it, then you gotta have something to do.
Yeah, because you don't need to worry about keeping track. Nothing happens in between these scenes.
Especially if you're not distracted by 3D. If you didn't see the 3D one,
if you have 3D, if you went to see 3D The Hobbit, I'm really sorry. My condolences. I'm really, really sorry. Yeah, it's not good. Yeah, 2D is bad enough. 3D would be horrendous. Could you imagine in 3D? I'm glad we didn't see it in 3D. Holy shit. Anyway, we're all out of Gollum imitations, so now he leaves the cave, leaves Gollum behind. Gollum yells, "Go away, I'm sorry." He jumps over him, hits him in the head, and he gets out into the... Apparently Gollum, I didn't know this, Gollum can't be in the sunlight, I guess, because he's a troll like the rest of them, or a goblin, whatever it is.
Really? Yeah, I didn't know either.
And he can't go out in the sunlight.
So he would
chase him. He said, "My ring is lost forever." Something like that. Something like that. That's what he said when he left. My ring is lost forever.
Something like that.
So he goes out and meanwhile, while he's with Gollum, these guys run out after the miraculous recovery from this triple tier thing falling down. They get out of the path and they're outside now, running down the hill. They're all downhill. Next thing you know, Bilbo Baggins shows up. I'm here. Takes the ring off, I guess. We don't see that part, but he takes the ring off. Now you can see him now. Now they can see Bilbo Baggins.
And he doesn't put it on the rest of the movie, so don't hope for it.
Yeah, he doesn't put the rest
of the movie. You're going to hope he does.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Spoiler alert after we said this spoiler. We're sorry. Aww.
The whole thing's a spoiler alert.
So anyway, he says, "Oh, I'm here. And why? And as I don't know what happens. I guess he's pulling the ring off when he's saying, I'm here. Puts his pocket. Gandalf sees the ring. So Gandalf knows he has the ring.
He's doing this weird thing with his hands where he's like secretly putting things in his pocket or just casually like, hey guys, like this is what I do with my hands all the time.
And there's a little shiny glint from the ring, and Gandalf. Nobody else sees it but Gandalf. The other 12 guys don't see it, but Gandalf sees it.
They don't notice that he's putting a ring in his pocket.
And keep in mind, Gandalf's 300 years older than all the rest of the guys, but he sees it. Nobody else sees it with the sharp eyes they have.
He was looking for it. He's like, I bet he ran into Gollum. I knew Gollum was down there.
Yes, that's probably what it is. Actually, he's probably weakened because he's still trying to build up his strength. Because don't forget, he had that force field that he wiped out the goblins. They fought and got their way out, but now he has to build up his forces. And now he's not a wizard anymore. He has a wizardly strength. Does something magic for one scene. That wizardly strength goes away for like 30, 40 minutes. He's like, help us. All he can do is say run. That's all he can do.
And grow some more gray hair.
Or grow some more gray hair. His beard gets longer and longer. Stick gets thicker and thicker and higher and higher.
One thing at a time.
So anyway, they get away now. And Bill Bangers is back, and now they go to the trees. Where do they go next? The trees? Where do they go? Oh, I know. They're running away, and next thing you know,
they're in the trees.
The orc goes.
The orcs are coming.
I smell dwarf. They're nearby.
Does he still have the sword at that point? Like, it doesn't glow.
Who does? He still has a sword.
And it didn't glow blue then. It wasn't glowing blue.
Oh.
Or he didn't even try to use... Yeah, no, it wasn't glowing blue. So it is
only
trolls and goblins.
Not
orcs. Now we figured it out.
Not orcs.
Okay, good.
We figured it out. Spoiler alert. Trolls and goblins, not orcs for the sword.
It glows blue. Glows blue. It has this little line that's curving through. It's pretty neat.
Anyway, he steals a sword. Now it's not glowing anymore. And this fucking orc guy smells... I guess he smells dwarfs. And they're close by. And they charge down this thing. And then Gandalf says, run! He always does it. He said run within 5 minutes of each other right there. And then they run for the trees. Get in the trees. And all the time they're going in these trees. And perfectly aligned pine trees lead up to this ridge. This, like, what is it? A mile drop. Something like that.
And there's a pine tree right on the very edge of somehow
growing out of rock.
Yeah, there's like a little rock that it's growing out of or something. It's right on the edge. It's impossibly on the tip of the cliff.
Then they come down and they're now in the trees, and the wolves or whatever they are coming down. They're raising hell. So Gandalf, he doesn't have full power, but he has partial wizard power. As you tell him what he does.
I don't know much about Gandalf, but I guess he can make fire somehow, or I don't know if he was rubbing pine cones together or his fingernails or something, but somehow they start on fire, and that's how they repel these wolves. They're on the last freaking tree after they domino. All the other trees fall down because they're just in water or something. I don't know. The roots just don't hold up. But then the one that's on the tip of the cliff, that one's fine. They're all on top of this tree at the end, dangling on the cliff. But the tree's just sturdy as hell, and he's lighting these pine cones, and they're throwing them at the wargs, at these big wolf creatures, and the wolves are scared. They run away.
Yeah, but let's back up though, because this is going to be a random review of the Hobbit podcast. It's going to be totally out of control.
We're doing a play-by-play. This isn't a review.
If you're not dizzy yet, you will be dizzy. So let's back up when all 5 of the trees are still... They all go in separate trees, and these wolves are pushing these trees down. And when the wolves first come down, they're attacking, they're ripping the branches off the trees. I know, they're all a little happy. You can't get to them. They're above the wolf level. Gandalf is in the back tree, the very back tree, kissing or drubbing or doing something to a butterfly with his magic wand stick.
Whispering in its ear. And then it flies away.
It flies away, right?
You don't know what it's about. Right?
But you're going to know what it's about because it's a spoiler zone. And if you watch Lord of the Rings, you know exactly what's going to happen next. I knew right away what was going to happen. I was right. I didn't know to what extent, but I knew what was going to happen. So anyway, these wolves are now so powerful, they're like fucking bulldozers. They start pushing these trees down. And as they push them down, these stupid assholes jump from one tree to the next, and one of them falls down.
Because the wolves are like climbing the trees. They're getting to them, so they have to abandon the tree, and they fall over.
They fall over, right? And what's amazing to me is it was so... This movie up until this point was so realistic to me. But this scene blew me away because nobody got any paper cuts, no broken bones. There was no slings, no mentions of I'm cut, get me a Band-Aid, nothing. They're just jumping around from tree to tree. They're falling down through the branches.
They do it all the time, and the trees fell perfectly into each other. They didn't fall any different directions. They fell right in the line. Like
my co-host says, Mr. Shawnee, a domino effect. Now there's one tree left, perfectly standing
But
straight
that one
up.
was fine for like a half
It's
hour of the
fine.
movie.
Yeah,
They were all on this tree.
There's 13 people in this tree now.
For some reason, I don't know how they did it, but every scene in the movie was a half hour. They stretched it out.
It was a half hour.
Every scene.
Like half-hour
They
scenes.
just until you just couldn't take it anymore. They went to the next scene.
Yeah, Peter Jackson, we got 30 minutes. Action. Stopwatch.
And they didn't cut anything out.
They didn't cut anything out.
They added stuff, actually. They're like, man, that's only 30 minutes long. Put some more minutes on there.
Peter Jackson is the king of uncut documentaries and renamed them The Hobbit. That's all it is.
They're like,
So
we
anyway.
paid for all this. We had all these expensive cameras. We're using every piece of footage we have for this one.
This is a pretty good action sequence here. There really was decent action sequence with the wolves and this and that. So anyway, they're in the last tree, and that was one of the best scenes. Was this scene where the prince, whatever his name is, the king's son. He's pissed. He sees this guy with this stupid metal spike in his arm, this orc guy, whatever his name is. He comes walking down this tree, and he's pissed. I'm gonna get this guy. But it's anticlimactic because he comes out of the tree, and the guy beats the shit out of him. He just beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, well, actually, no, he doesn't even. I don't remember. All I remember is his warg, his wolf creature guy. He has this fancy one that's like a white tiger.
I know, he was nice, wasn't he?
He was pretty cool looking. And he eats him. He basically chomps on him, and then he's like dead.
Well, yeah, well,
he has this little his shield is some piece. He didn't upgrade it from last time they met. He just has this log taped to his arm or whatever.
There's a piece
and
of
that's
wood.
his shield.
And he's fighting this. First of all, the orc is like 3 times his size, and the wolf he's riding on is 4 times his size, and they're on a rock above him. He's at ground level. They're on this rock like 12 foot higher than him, and they leap off as he's charging. He's charging toward this giant wolf and giant orc with nothing but this fucking log shield on his arm. And you know what happens? The guy leaps off and just knocks him to the ground. And
after dangling on the tree for like 10 minutes, he's like, "I'm gonna fight this guy. I've had enough." And he approaches him all intense and
approaches after the tree
like
falls
running
down to a 45-degree angle where he can
like,
run down
okay,
like a ramp.
We're gonna die anyway, so I'll be brave and go try to kill my enemy guy. That I only cut his arm off last time foolishly. I should have finished him off, but I only cut like his elbow off. That's it.
But spoiler, he fails and he's laying on the ground almost dead. But another spoiler is, guess who saves him?
Who else is going to be brave next?
Who else?
One of the dwarves?
Can anybody answer the question? Who saves him? Come on, you can. I know you can.
It was my precious. He came back and he wanted his ring, but he's like, "All right, I'll save all of you." No, it was the Hobbit.
I thought I saw Gollum come out of the rock. No, it was the Hobbit. The Hobbit comes saving the day.
He was crying actually.
He was still. Gollum was still crying, and Hobbit was saving his friend, or the friend that said he was a waste and he shouldn't even be there. He's useless to me. Now he wants to prove himself. So he jumps out of the tree, and I'm all along think he's going to put the ring on. He's going to have an advantage because he'll be invisible. We're going to see this battle with this visible sword. That's what you want to
happen, but that's not going to happen because
that didn't happen because the Hobbit did. All in all, the Hobbit really was a D plus maybe. See at the very most. Anyway, he comes down, and he saves him, he kills one guy, and gets him away. But next thing you know, spoiler alert, the butterfly comes back. Not as one butterfly, but as five or 10.
No, it was pretty much.
All right, 10 or 20.
They were in twos, like teaming up. One of them had to knock him off the tree, and one of them had to catch him. Or there were big giant birds.
One of them, we're talking about birds.
The big giant birds that we didn't mention yet.
Giant eagles. We're just saying one of them.
They came.
Them is birds.
They took them, and then the movie ended.
They took them, the people. The birds took them, the people. Not the people, the dwarfs and Bilbo and actually Gandalf too. But you know what Gandalf did, right? You see Lord of the Rings. You know what he does. He rides on the neck of the bird. That's what Gandalf does. He does this stupid thing, and he's still, he's got his powers, and they're flying around. Everything's cool. And it close up on the prince guy has his giant talons. Really good special effects. I thought the special effects were really good there. I thought the one time they zoomed in on the claws, to me, I was supposed to think the bird was getting tired, was going to drop him. I thought I saw his claws loosened up.
Yeah, on the
she
guy
was going to drop him.
The dwarf king guy. Is
the
the
dwarf
son.
king, the son.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to drop him, but he didn't drop him. So they fly to an undisclosed location. We can't tell you that because it would be a spoiler. All right, spoiler alert. On some fucking rock in the middle of nowhere. And now the sun's up. It's all pretty. Now we're getting pretty close to the end now. Everything's winding down. The action had me exhausted. I was personally happy it was winding down because I was just exhausted from all the action. So now here we are. They all get dropped off. The guy's dead. He's dead, right? I think he's dead. He's dead.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden, Gandalf changes the AA batteries, puts a new set of batteries in. He has powers now again.
Yeah.
And he waves his little hand over the dead guy, charges him up, brings his soul and his life force back. He becomes alive. And what is the first thing to do? Spoiler alert.
He's pissed off.
Pissed off.
He's pissed off with the Hobbit. He's like, you should have left.
Hates
you
him.
didn't help at all.
Hates
and he's
him.
like, oh, just kidding, and gives him a big hug. He's like, you saved. You're meant to be with us. And
I thought you were going to drag that off longer for the podcast so I can keep saying hate him, but you just went right to the punchline.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks a lot, buddy.
I know.
I'm going to keep saying hate him. He hates him.
I got this microphone here, so I figured I'd use it once in a while. I know.
You were going to keep describing his stuff. I was going to keep saying hates him. He really hates him. And then you would go to the punchline.
I wonder what you would have said if I wouldn't have said that he was mad at him and stuff. Where you were going to say that he hates him.
I would have said he hates him. That's what I was going to say.
He was mad.
So anyway, the very end of the movie. By the way, spoiler alert, big time.
You got me killed.
These movies, this really infuriated me at the end of this movie. Because it's so ridiculous, because they flew in on giant hawks or whatever. They're giant birds, similar to, Never-Ending Story, that type of giant creature thing. Fly in, drop them off. And as soon as the next scene was, they're looking at this mountain, it almost looked like Mount Everest from a far-off distance, and I knew that's where they should go. That's where they have to go. So, sure enough, I think Gandalf has enough energy to say, that's where we have to go. We have to go there. That's the dwarf mountain, whatever it is, whatever the mountain is. What the were these birds? Did they have battery power too? They're running out of power. I mean, they just dropped them off. They could fly the entire way. What's with that, Sean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Talk to me.
They were saying that was their home or something. And, and they couldn't take them all the way there.
Then what happened?
They were out of energy. Maybe some of their, it was all fiery and stuff. Maybe some of their wings burned off, like some of their feathers.
Their wings burned off.
Burnt, and they could only fly so far.
That's right.
That's probably what happened.
Or you know what? They had so much, they got to eat a lot, so they had so much bird feed they ran out of energy.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Like the whole theme of that movie was about eating and food and like how everybody was hungry. Like Gollum was gonna eat that one goblin that fell, but then he saw the Hobbit. That's
right.
Yeah.
And Gandalf kept running out of energy. He'd eat batteries, but you know what? Maybe the birds are the same. You know what? The birds are the same cycle of energy as Gandalf. They ran out of energy.
Maybe that was Gandalf's spell, like because they came because of him anyway. So maybe he was.
It could be.
Maybe they couldn't even. They birds that couldn't even fly without his magic. So he was using his magic and it ran out.
So that was the movie. Sorry if we spoil it for you.
Yeah,
or not.
I don't think we said much. I mean,
we didn't say a lot about the movie, but
it's good you didn't listen, guys.
Really, if you're not a fan of the Hobbit or Tolkien or Lord of the Rings,
or us,
just don't even go see it because it's not really worth it. But if you are a fan, you're going to get some enjoyment out of it. There's some lame scenes.
If you really need more of the Lord of the Rings, then you don't need us.
The prequel.
You're going to see it.
Oh, by the way, it ends in the middle of the scene. It's the end of that. So it's 2 parts. So it's 3 parts.
There's a dragon at the end. They reveal part. It's buried in gold. So it ruins.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Yeah. It opens its eye like the end of any movie.